Elinor, starting back with a look of horror at the sight of him, turned instantly to quit the room, and her hand was already on the lock when its action was suspended by his saying, in a voice rather of command than supplication, "Miss Dashwood, for half an hour, for 10 minutes, I entreat you to stay." "No, sir," she replied with firmness, "I shall not stay. Your business cannot be with me. My business is with you and only you." "With me?" in the utmost amazement. "Well, sir, be quick, and if you can, less violent. Sit down, and I will be both." She hesitated. She did not know what to do. The possibility of Colonel Brandon arriving and finding him there came across her, but she had promised to hear him, and her curiosity no less than her honour was engaged. "Pray be quick, sir," said Elinor impatiently. "I have no time to spare." "Your sister," said he with abruptness a moment afterwards, "is out of danger. I heard it from the servant. God be praised, but is it true? Is it really true?" "We hope she is." He rose up and walked across the room. "Mr. Willoughby," Elinor continued, "you ought to feel, and I certainly do, that after what has passed, your coming here in this manner and forcing yourself upon my notice requires a very particular excuse. What is it that you mean by it?" "I mean," said he, with a serious energy, "I mean to offer some kind of explanation, some kind of apology for the past, to obtain something like forgiveness from your sister." "Is this the real reason for your coming?" "Upon my soul it is," was his answer. "If that is all, you may be satisfied already, for Marianne does. She has long forgiven you." "Then she has forgiven me before she ought to have done it. But she shall forgive me again, and on more reasonable grounds. Now will you listen to me?" Elinor bowed her assent. "My fortune was never large, and I had always been expensive. Every year since my coming of age, or even before, I believe, had added to my debts. And though the death of my old cousin, Mrs. Smith, was to set me free, yet that event being uncertain, and possibly far distant, it had for some time been my intention to re-establish my circumstances by marrying a woman of fortune. To attach myself to your sister, therefore, was not a thing to be thought of. But one thing may be said for me. Even in that horrid state of selfish vanity, I did not know the extent of the injury I meditated, because I did not then know what it was to love. To avoid a comparative poverty, which her affection and her society would have deprived of all its horrors, I have, by raising myself to affluence, lost everything that could make it a blessing." "You did then," said Elinor, a little softened, "believe yourself at one time attached to her?" "Yes, I found myself by insensible degrees sincerely fond of her, and the happiest hours of my life were what I spent with her, when I felt my intentions were strictly honourable, and my feelings blameless. Even then, however, when fully determined on paying my addresses to her, I allowed myself most improperly to put off from day to day the moment of doing it. At last, however, I had determined, as soon as I could engage her alone, to justify the attentions I had so invariably paid her, and openly assure her of an affection which I had already taken such pains to display. But in the interim, before I could have an opportunity of speaking with her in private, a circumstance occurred to ruin all my resolution, and with it all my comfort. A discovery took place." Here he hesitated and looked down.